I say you crank that Soldier Boy, right? You Darvish back on the mound. Haven't seen this guy in a minute right now. Yeah, man, crank it, man. Get it going up. Get the high. Yeah, let's go. Crank that Soldier Boy up here. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. That was big back then. Where were you? Senior high school? Or maybe even in grade school?
Dude. Bar mitzvah slate. In the bar mitzvah slate each and every weekend, the young Benny Steve was out there hitting it.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, oh, they must know the science because they're hitting curveballs that they know it's coming. It's like, oh boy, did you really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser to start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
5-year contract. It's just, I bring it up only because who cares, Scott? It's just mine. Jaren Jackson Jr., good player. Don't get me wrong. $50 million a year. You know, we all bitch and complain about the Juan Soto deals and the Ohtani deals, and you get guys like Jaren Jackson making $50 million a year.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh,
that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
They'd be like 80 times. They'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight, only on...
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day on this Tuesday evening. Scott Wetzel, Joe Raineri, the A-team back together again. How about that until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, betting on the world of sports. Yes, Major League Baseball, full slate of games tonight, Joe. We got the one WNBA again that's starting. Oh, by the way, I will say the Liberty on a nasty 0-9 against the spread streak. So that's a pretty decent little bet to go against them. Line's down to 3.5. But we got that. We got the NBA. Maybe touch on a little Wimbledon. Who knows? Maybe even a little Tour de France before everything is said and done. What's going on, Joe? How are you tonight, bud?
Always a pleasure to be with you, Scotty. Feels like it's been a hot minute since In-Game Live has been this good. So I'm a pleasure sitting next to you, my man. Let's get at it on a Tuesday.
Yeah, we got the big matchup with the Dodgers and Milwaukee Brewers. Dodgers looking to avoid their 5th straight loss, something they haven't done all year. Mizorowski, the heralded kid from Milwaukee, faces Ohtani. Joe, first time up, boom, home run, 1-0 LA as Ohtani takes some D. It figures Ohtani. Put one more goofy thing on his card as far as what he's capable of doing. It's amazing.
It really is, but that kid is the real deal. Make no mistake about it. That kid is electric for Milwaukee. What we just saw from Woodruff over the weekend, and just like that, you got a pretty fierce 1-2-3 in any sort of short series in the postseason with these Brewers. They're a team to keep an eye on.
Yeah. It's funny. I bet the Grand Salami under yesterday, and I think it took like 4 games for it to lose, as every game was like 10-8 yesterday. So I said, all right, let me go with the over tonight. And it seems like we're getting no runs, except for a couple of runs, 2-2 with Detroit and Tampa Bay. But even that's in the 6th inning. Everything else 0-0 or 1-1. Your Miami Marlins, how about that, though? Spotting Cincinnati a 1-0 lead, 7-1 now. We talked about it last week. We put in a pullover side of the road bet, as we like to call them. Over 66.5, 67.5 FanDuel had, Joe, as their second half total. And all they needed to go was 30 and 50. And this is when they had won like 6-7 in a row, whatever it was. It's like, how are they not going to go 30 and 50? So even if they play poorly, you could back into 30 and 50. And, they've lost a couple of games, but, man, I'll tell you what, the Miami Marlins, I don't know if they're for real, don't get me wrong, but I don't know how they don't get 67, 68 wins, I'll tell you that.
Well, listen, I mean, 41 and 48 right now they sit. And I don't know a lot of people that had them at this, 41 wins at this point in the season here, Scotty. So I am with you. And Yuri Perez on the mound tonight, but my problem with the Marlins is they could come trade deadline at the end of the month, Scotty. All of these guys that are starting to show up might be someplace else playing with a different uniform on. But no doubt they got some talent on this team, the Marlins.
Yeah, well, that's what people said when I brought the story up. They said, Sky, you know what? If these guys continue to do well, chances are real good they're not going to be on the team in August or September. So, you're betting on a team that's playing well, but, you're really betting on Miami's AAA team the way it turns out. But hopefully we get enough wins where we don't have to go too crazy. But 30 and 50, I think the boys in Vegas fell asleep on that one. I don't know how they don't. Like I said, they get back into 30 wins. So off to a good start, obviously, tonight 7-1. Like I said, a lot of scoreless games, a lot of 1-0 games. We'll get to them all. But, Joe, what we do here in the first segment, we got a bunch of games that have yet to begin. So we call it our 5 on the line, 5 best trends for the late games on this Tuesday, July 8th. All right, we had a rare losing night last night with these trends. We had only 2 and 3. We did hit with San Fran. They won as slight dogs, hit with the under San Fran as well. But other than that, Texas lost to the Angels 6-5. Cleveland somehow or another broke out of their funk. They had lost 10 in a row, scored a bunch of runs. So we went 2 and 3. Still 74 games over 500, 213 up, 139 down with a couple of pushes thrown in there. So no shame in that. But let's bounce back tonight and go at least 3-2, if not 4-1, which is what we're accustomed to. So the 5 best trends, we go from 5 down to the very best trend. We'll start at number 5, obviously. Right back on under Cleveland. I know it didn't hit last night, but the Tribe's still 19 and 5 under their last 24 road games, 19 and 5. So where are we going to go? Let's go under. It's a low number, right? It's actually under 7, not the Texas Rangers. That was from yesterday, boys. Under 7, Cleveland and Houston. Number 4, San Diego, losing last night to Arizona, 7-1 their last 8 games after a loss. So, if they lose last night, where are we going to go? Let's go with the Padres. There you go, minus 130 against Arizona tonight. Play number 3, Atlanta, 7-1 under interleague games versus losing teams, which is what they're facing here tonight in Oakland, well, in Sacramento, actually, in the A's. So, let's go under 10.5 Atlanta with Fuentes on the hill, which is not easier. Diddy or Fuentes, he sucks. So this is really going to be a tough one, but a trend is a trend. So under 10.5 Atlanta at the A's. Number 2, this one hit last night, and it's a remarkable number. San Francisco now 26-6 their last 32 home games against the Phillies. That is amazing when you consider how good Philadelphia has been during this span. So let's grab San Francisco. Robbie Ray on the hill tonight, Joe. Minus 160 against the Philadelphia Phillies. And then that leaves us with only one. The coup de grace, creme de la creme, numero uno trend for tonight. This was a loser, I will say, last night. But you know what? Cleveland is still just 1-10 now, their last 11 games. Astros 10-3, their last 13. Right back to the well. It did lose last night, but it's still a great trend when you take a step away. So let's go with Houston, minus the 2-1. Hunter Brown on the hill. I don't see how he loses at home anyway against the Cleveland Guardians. Our number 1 trend, Joe. What do you think?
I kind of like that. I don't see any situation in which Hunter Brown is pitching, which doesn't give them a severe leg up here, Scotty. And I'm kind of fascinated with that trend with San Francisco and Philadelphia, too. I mean, you're going to tell me Wheeler hasn't pitched a lot when they have played at Oracle over the years. And even if he has, apparently it doesn't make the difference. For whatever reason, Phillies don't like the West Coast here, apparently, Scotty.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll come across a trend, Joe, where, you do the research and then, a lot of these you can kind of guess or whatever. And then there are a couple that just like, wow, really? And that was, one of those like, wow, reallys. Because San Francisco, for the most part, been halfway decent. not horrible, but Philadelphia's been really good. So for the Phillies to be that bad, you're right. I mean, that was a surprise, and again, it hit again last night. So hopefully it hits again tonight if you buy into the trends anyway. So and with Robbie Ray on the hill, I do like San Fran tonight with Ray on the hill. He's almost unbeatable at home. Pretty good overall, obviously, but especially at home. So I kind of like San Fran. We'll get into all that stuff in a little bit. Early start for the Mets, a 6:30 start. That game down in Baltimore, 1-0 Orioles, Joe. Any thoughts on that one? Want to hop it on the Mets?
Yeah, it may not be worth Clay Holmes is always which version is going to show up, but I just don't like this Orioles team at all. And it wouldn't be shocked, Scotty, if we're looking at maybe an under spot in this here, because if the Mets don't score, how are we getting runs here? Because I can't trust Baltimore's lineup either.
Yeah, I thought the Mets, after winning 2 out of 3 against the Stankies, maybe turn things around a little bit. I still think they're a halfway decent price right now as slight underdogs at Baltimore. All right, just getting underway, in-game live game day.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game day here on the grid. Scott, Joe, hour number one just getting underway. So is Cleveland and Houston, Joe. Yesterday, the Guardians snapping a 10-game losing streak. You got Hunter Brown on the hill. We talked about that a little bit before the first break there. And listen, 2-1's a tough price to play. You maybe put it in a parlay. If you got a PP, a public parlay we could find, or lay a run and a half, or take a stab on the Guardians. Any initial thoughts on Cleveland, Houston?
Well, I mean, they broke that 10-game losing streak. And if I'm not mistaken, Hunter Brown was originally scheduled to pitch yesterday, and then they opted to go with Gordon. And while that didn't exactly work out in their favor, Houston, but listen, anytime Hunter Brown is on the mound, I am usually in some way, shape, or form looking for his strikeout prop first and foremost. I know it was 6.5 earlier today. It's probably higher than that. I mean, he's been just unhittable, especially, Scotty. I mean, he's been really good at home, which is where they are here tonight. So if it ain't broke, I don't see any way in fixing it. And I mean, let's be reasonable. The Guardians, congratulations. You broke the streak. You still can't hit. And you're certainly not going to hit a guy that's got a 1.82 ERA on the hill who will have no problem blowing the ball by you. So I got no problem looking at, Houston first 5, lay the half a run if you want to go that route. But I think he racks up the strikeouts here tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of weird with him, Joe. I looked it up, and you can still get in on some of these sites because they're just getting underway. His number was 6.5, which is a decent number. But, he's hit 7 strikeouts, which is what you obviously need to get for it to go over. 12 of his 17 starts, 12-5. So I said, all right, so they're compensating a little bit for, facing Cleveland, not a good hitting team, blah, blah, blah. But then if you go to his outs total, which is 18.5, it's heavily juiced to the over, plus 144. He's only gone past the 6th inning 4 times in his 17 starts. So whereas they're giving you a good number on his strikeouts, they're giving you a bad number on his outs. It's kind of weird. You think they would just give you good number, bad number, bad number. They either think he's going to pitch really well or they're not. Kind of weird that they would go both ways. Like they're giving you a break with his strikeout total for sure.
Yeah. Well, you also know the Guardians are very left-handed heavy in that lineup there. And that's not good news because Hunter Brown has struck out almost 37% of the lefties he has faced this season, Scotty. So you want to keep rolling lefties up to Hunter Brown. He's got no problem. And again, if this game begins a blowout, I can see the outs prop being priced a little bit differently, given the fact that, listen, we're almost to the All-Star break. Are we burning him through 7 innings if they're up 6 runs, knowing Cleveland can't come back? So that would be the only worry there that I have.
Yeah, and that makes sense, and that's why they're making the over 18.5 so heavily juiced. So they figure, kind of like with Jacob deGrom, we got burned last night with our black cloud. Because the one downside, they gave us a really good number. He hit it like 9 out of his last 10 starts, and I said yesterday the only thing that would be trouble is that this team, the Angels, strike out a lot, and that usually takes up a lot of pitches, and we kind of got burned on that. So. Got one of my favorite betting systems in play tonight, Joe. The coaches/managers fired system with the Nationals on Monday. Firing their skipper. They're in St. Louis to start a series with the Cardinals. Irvin's on the hill. Not a bad little pitcher for Washington. Getting monster odds. They're in a rain delay here. They're saying it's going to start in about a half hour or so. We'll see. It was supposed to start about an hour ago. But Washington getting almost 2-1 St. Louis with Sonny Gray on the hill, minus 235.
Sonny Gray been much better at home than he has been on the road in this spot here. But, yeah, you got the manager's fired system, and what does it do? Well, we're going to give you a rain delay, and this game's going to start at 11 o'clock, Scott. Sorry. You're going to have to stay up until 1 o'clock to see if your system actually hits here. But, listen, I think it was something had to change in Washington. I got a lot of young talent on that team. It just, for whatever reason, has not come together. You can't lose 70% of Gore's starts and think you're going to have a quality season. The guy is a frontline starter on any team, and you can't win the games that he's out on the mound. So maybe this shakes him up. And I, for one, think St. Louis is the one team that has overperformed the most so far this season. I think regression is coming for the Cardinals.
All right. By the way, all that talk about Hunter Brown, he must have given up a 2-run homer because it's 2-0 Cleveland already in the first inning.
Of course.
Unbelievable. So, despite that, I mean, the Astros are still only plus 120. I'm a little surprised that it's not a little bit more than that, but okay, there you go. So 2-0, just like that. The Pete tonight, I followed it up, Joe. I had it yesterday. It actually hit, which is, You know, you'd be surprised how often the PP does not hit the public parlay. Red Sox yesterday and Toronto did it again today. Toronto, I see, just took a 1-0 lead against the White Sox. Red Sox, last check, were scoreless. They still are. Bottom of the 5th inning at Fenway Park against Kyle Freeland. Who figured that?
How in the world does that happen? It's going to be a low-scoring night when Boston can't score any runs at home on in a July night against the Colorado Rockies, because they've been scoring runs against just about everybody that they've come across. But I laid. I don't usually like to run to the window in these spots here, but -1.5 seemed like a good price to get Toronto, who's won 9 in a row. Bassett's on the mound. Bassett lost to the White Sox earlier in the season, but that was when this team was not hitting. This team, they scored 9 runs last night, Scott. Springer goes 0 for 5, and they only get 8 hits, and they still manage to score 9 runs. This is a team playing like they were in first place in 20 games above 500. I don't see any reason to fade them in any way, shape, or form against less than 500 teams now.
Yeah, I tell you, I brought it up last night, Joe. You know, they have the White Sox and then the A's. Yankees in second place have Seattle and the Cubs. I mean, the Yankees are already 3.5 back. They could be 5, maybe even 6 back at the All-Star break, the Yanks.
Yep. Absolutely, Scott. With the way they're hitting now, they're going to fly into the All-Star break.
Yeah, amazing. So let's see. Hopefully they can score a few more runs tonight, up 1-0 against the White Sox. All right, in-game live game day continues. We got our SGP same-game parlay coming up next.
Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back, and they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue. They're looking to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that weren't household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to In-Game Live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Joe, hour number 1, third segment, hour number 1. So what do we do all the time? Little SGP, same game parlay time. All right, we're going to use the late game, San Francisco and Philadelphia. We gave you that trend earlier about the Giants at 26-6 at home against Philadelphia. That's just an added bonus because I do like the Giants regardless of what their record would be. With Robbie Ray on the hill, he's tough to beat anywhere, but especially at home. So let's go. We'll start with our San Francisco minus the 154. I put it early this afternoon at 154. It's got to be similar close to that right now, 160 or so. If the Giants are going to win, in part, it's going to be because Taijuan Walker is going to stink tonight for Philadelphia, which is more than capable of him doing that. So let's go over 4.5 runs, San Francisco Giants. We'll use Rafi Devers one hit, minus 240. I mean, eventually this guy's got to break out. And then more stories today from Red Sox camp about how the Red Sox brought in Jack Clark to work with him at first base, and he blew off 3 meetings. I mean, the negative sentiment from Boston continues against Rafi Devers. So maybe that will incite him. Who knows? So we'll use him to get a base hit. We'll use Robbie Ray over his strikeout total, 6.5. Joe and I talked about that. And then we'll just use Trey Turner, one hit. He's a righty against the lefty Robbie Ray for San Fran. So hopefully he gets a base hit in, 4 at-bats, at least you would think. So add it all up. Nothing great, but, we'll take it. We're turning a minus 150 or so favorite into a plus 5.5 or so money line, same game parlay, rather, at plus 126. What do you think, Joe?
Listen, if the Giants hit anything like the Blue Jays are hitting right now, Scotty, I think you are good to go here, my friend, as I think we're up to 4-0 as they just keep launching balls off the wall in the outfield. But let me tell you, I mean, I get why the Giants made the move for Devers. I get it, right? You needed a bat. You've tried everything over the last couple of seasons to get a power hitter to come play out there. Nobody wants anything to do with it. It's not that they don't have the money, Scotty. That's the funny thing. It's just that you're playing at Oracle. It's not Fenway. You're not going to have the same power numbers that you did when you hit at Fenway Park. But let's be realistic. A talent aside, the guy was a cancer in Boston. What makes you think he's going to be any different inside your locker room right now? This is not exactly a leader among men. I mean, guys like Chapman in that locker room got to be scratching their head with this kid. They really do.
Yeah, and they signed Chapman to the big contract, and then they're bringing in another third baseman. I mean, so he's going from the pot to the frying pan. So you're asking him to like that situation that he didn't like in Boston. All of a sudden, he's going to like it in San Francisco. You're right, Joey. And I know this is weird, but, I'll say it. The guy's been in the majors for 8-9 years now, and and he still can't speak English to the media. So what does that tell you? If he's not comfortable speaking to the media, basic English, hey, what'd you see on that, that fastball? How's he supposed to be a leader then? I mean, if he can't communicate comfortably without having an interpreter there, how is he supposed to be a leader? I never quite understood that. So, yeah, I'm not big on giving out 10-year contracts. I don't care who it is. You can count on one hand, Joe, how many of those contracts have really panned out for the team. They all turn into busts and just albatrosses. So, listen, as a Red Sox fan, did I want them to trade him? No, I didn't. Make it happen. Make it work. I wouldn't have brought Bregman in. I wouldn't have. But now that he's gone and we're seeing, him not, hit too well in San Francisco, and it's kind of like, whew, thank goodness we're out.
The Red Sox are scoring 10 runs a game, Scott, without Devers, who, you can't tell me the front office with the Bregman move wasn't prepping for possibly something like this, going, you know what? Probably shouldn't have. I mean, they waited as long as they possibly could to give him the contract, right? It wasn't like they did it reluctantly, and they had a backup plan and exit strategy in case it went the direction they thought it was going to go. And now he's with the Giants, and the guy's got all the power in the world, all the talent in the world, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be successful in any of these places.
Yeah. I just don't think he's the main guy. He's the Robin. I don't think he's the Batman. Bring someone else in. If you're going to bring someone else in there and hit him in front of him, or even vice versa, but just not be the entire focus, maybe they'd be better off. But we will see. So hopefully tonight, though, he gets at least a hit. All right, quick little break. We'll come back. Adam Trigger, WagerTalk.com, gives us some winners tonight.
Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking into be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, like, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that were in household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott, Joe, Raineri, hour number one. Checking out a little baseball. The Blue Jays 5-0 now, leading the White Sox. We just need the Red Sox to complete the PP. You would think that Toronto game, although their bullpen, you never really know. But still, Red Sox scoreless in the 6th inning now with Colorado at home, minus a 3-1 favorite here. They got to get at least a 1-run win, if not a 2-runner. So let's talk a little baseball, get some winners from Adam Trigger. Check out all his plays. It's WagerTalk.com, WagerTalk.com. Look for his icon. You hit that, boom, takes you right to his page, and you get all his plays. Adam, Scott, and Joe, how are you today, bud?
I'm doing great, guys. Appreciate you having me. Looking forward to talking some baseball. My only play for Tuesday has not started yet, so it worked out. Still a couple games on the board, and looking forward to talking about it with you guys.
All right, you want to give it out? Who's your main play tonight?
I'll give it out. The only thing I've played in MLB is the Atlanta Braves. I think this is a great spot for the Braves, and I think it's kind of a do-or-die spot for them. Played it a little bit earlier at minus, I think, 113, but anything up to minus 120, even minus 125, I think is a really solid play on the Braves here. Kind of trying to buy low on them after the weekend. I didn't think they played bad enough to get swept by the Orioles, but a couple close games, extra inning loss, and that's just sort of how it's worked out for them. Reason I will buy them in this spot, guys, I just think it's equally a good fade of Jeffrey Springs and the A's. Jeffrey Springs, everything is up with him. He hasn't had great command this season. His ERA is about a run higher at home. And that is not a ballpark that you can keep the ball up and be a fly ball pitcher in, at least not with any real success. I'm actually surprised his ERA is not higher than it is, being as there's a lot of cheap home runs at Sutter Health Park, which is not a big league stadium, smaller dimensions, and the ball has carried there sort of more than I remember it carrying during AAA games. But you also have big league hitters hitting there, so that probably has something to do with it as well. Didier Fuentes, He just turned 20 a couple weeks ago. I have no idea why the Braves insist on doing this to some of their young pitchers. A.J. Smith-Shawver comes to mind with someone they just forced up there at age 20. But he's now 4 starts in. 6 strikeouts against the Angels last time out. Command has been a little bit better. I'm just asking him to survive because I do think the Braves have a bullpen edge as well. Good spot to buy low on the Braves. I took them to win -113.
Let me ask you a big picture here, Adam. At what point are teams what their record says they are? Because, we always see these big moves. Philadelphia comes to mind. They've always been a great second half team. They looked atrocious in the first half, and then they make this run. Atlanta, everyone's still buying into Atlanta. At what point do we go, you are what your record says you are here this year?
Well, when I saw this line this morning, Joe, I asked myself, are people really still buying Atlanta now? Because over the weekend, they definitely were. Some of those games, almost every one of those games against the Orioles over the weekend, Braves -155. Against the Angels last week, Braves $1.50 favorite with Bryce Elder on the mound, who shouldn't be in the majors, right? So that people were still buying the Braves. Now, I mean, this is the West Sacramento AAA A's we're talking about here. A lot of these guys have been you talk about Didier Fuentes, 20 years old, made 5 starts at AA, 1 start at AAA. They rush him to the big leagues. He gets pounded the first couple starts. Well, now he's up against a lineup of guys that have been at AAA within the last year. They're not super disciplined. You got some great free swinging contact hitters on this A's team that have so much talent, but they're not overly disciplined. So I actually think this is a lineup that Fuentes can handle. And that price point, at least this morning, -105, -110, I kind of think everyone's bailed on him at this point. And I'm not on the Braves long term, but this week against the A's, they're still better than this A's team. -105, -110, I think there's some value there.
Yeah, that's not bad, because I did look at his numbers when he first came up, Adam, and it was like this guy was pitching lousy in the minors. I was saying, what is he doing in a Braves uniform? He's got no business being in a Braves. I'm not saying he's going to be bad his whole career and all, but right now he shouldn't be. But you bring up a good point. I mean, he's basically facing a AAA team in the A's, right? So maybe you wouldn't you'd bet him the next time, but tonight, it's not a bad bet, I guess, right?
Well, Scott, there's also some merit to the fact that, he's now in his 4th start. He's working with major league coaches who it can happen, right? You will see guys go up and figure it out at the big league level. I didn't think it was fair to him really to do that. 5 starts at AA, 1 start at AAA, 20th birthday was in June. And they're just going to say, hey, go ahead and figure it out at the big league level. I wouldn't have done it. But hey, you know what? The Braves have done it before. They did it with A.J. Smith-Shawver. It didn't really work. So I don't know why they're so gung-ho to do it here. But maybe the Braves still think they can win. And they say, you know what? He has plus stuff. He has a lot of upside. Let's let him figure it out at the big league level. And the fact that he's still here, Scott, that's why I want to bet the Braves, because he's still here. Right. They didn't see 2 bad starts and send him back down. They said, we're going to ride this out. 6 strikeouts against the Angels last time out. My guess is he throws pretty good here.
I like it. All right, we got another game coming up with the Giants and Robbie Ray on the mound. They finally seem to have figured some things out. They dominate the Phillies for whatever reason over the last couple of seasons here. What happens in game 2 of the set tonight?
So I really like the Giants here. I just don't love the price point as much, right? If you want to talk about matchups and just picking a winner, I'll take San Francisco all day. I just don't really want to lay $1.55, and everything is price relative. So it's why I didn't bet this game. From a matchup standpoint, Joe, Philly is not their optimal lineup is against right-handed pitching. So anytime you can get a good lefty against the Phillies, I do think that it's a reasonable play. It's not that they don't hit lefties. It's just their optimal lineup is geared toward a right-handed pitcher. And so you're getting a very good lefty on the mound here in Robbie Ray, who you pull up that Baseball Savant page, Joe, a lot of red right there. I mean, he has been awesome this year. The chase rate is up. He's still going to walk guys. He does that. He's still going to he'll give up some hard hit and he'll give up a bomb every once in a while. But for the most part, he's been awesome. I can't really fault Robbie Ray for anything so far this year. On the other side, Taijuan Walker is another guy that don't have much faith in long-term as a big league starter at this point. And the Giants lineup is much better against right-handed pitching, much better against right-handed pitching. And they've actually really improved themselves against right-handed pitching long-term with Devers in the lineup now, which I think, say what you want about the Devers trade. He makes that lineup so much better than they were, so much more difficult to navigate at the top of that order now that you've got Ramos and Devers and Chapman is now back. So, the lineup, I don't think the Giants are a great hitting team by any means, but they're definitely improved. And against Taijuan Walker, I think, last 2 nights they faced tough lefties. Giants are always going to struggle against tough lefties. You give them a righty like Walker, I think they can generate some offense. And Robbie Ray might not need that much offense to get him home here. So I do like the Giants.
All right, 30 seconds. They're giving us 17.5 outs for Robbie Ray, Adam. He's hit that 11 of his last 13 starts, but it's minus 178. I'm guessing you're not too comfortable laying $180 or so, right?
No, and the reason more so that I think the Giants have bullpen arms that they can deploy here. He really pitched very deep into the game last time out. The one thing with Ray, if he's economical and he's getting outs, he's going to cruise. He will walk guys on occasion. So that's not a play that I love. But again, it won't surprise me here if Robbie Ray is pitching into the 7th inning, just because I think he matches up well with this Phillies lineup.
Yeah, I like first 5 for me. I'll lay the half a run because I think Robbie Ray outpitches Miguel all day, Walker rather, all day long here. Yep. Are you, real quick, Adam, are you a big believer in this kid and the Milwaukee Brewers maybe making a run?
I'm a believer in the Brewers having like a ton of upside talent. I think long-term Mizorowski will be fine at the minors. He struggled with command, walked too many guys. That's something that I think can get ironed out really quickly. So is he going to come out like Skeens and be talked about as a Cy Young guy this year? No. Does he have a lot of upside long-term? Yes, and I think the Brewers are a good team to buy.
There you go, Adam Trigger, WagerTalk.com. Thanks, Adam.
Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking into be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. It's really bad. Now the past couple weeks, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that were in household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's just the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day on the Grid. Scott, Joe, Raineri, hour number 1. Thanks again, Adam Trigger. Check out all his plays at wagertalk.com. Look for his icon. You hit that, and it goes to his page, and fire away. Adam Trigger, appreciate that. We'll do that again soon. We were talking in the break there, Joe. Milwaukee did put a couple of runs on the board. Looking ahead, the Dodgers, their 5th straight loss. They now lead 2-1, bottom of the 4th inning. They're minus 250. You don't see Dodgers plus 190, only down a run too often. Milwaukee does have a couple of runners on, 1st and 3rd. FanDuel's showing, I think that's 1 out. I wish FanDuel, I've said this before, I wish they would make their outs a different color. Gray and blue, maybe I'm just getting old, blends together. But make one orange. Will you please? So it kind of stands out. So I think there's 1 out, and now it's locked. But this Brewers team's a dangerous club. You know, you got to fast forward. It's like we did this week earlier with the Houston Astros. You know, you get Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez at the top of your rotation. I'll take my chances in a best-of-5, best-of-7 series. And the Brewers, if Mizorowski does continue along this path, and Woodruff, the way he pitched yesterday, well, I tell you what, that's a dangerous team that not too many clubs are going to want to be raising their hand to be facing in the postseason.
Listen, there's a few, things that we should always know are going to be happening every year. And, this was the one year in that division where we thought, the Cardinals haven't had a sub-500 season since 2000, I think, Scott. That's how long it has been. That is a baseball city. It's a well-run organization. They never have a down year. They've overperformed. But the idea that we keep sticking a fork in the Brewers, which happened again last year with their win total. Nobody thought they were going to do anything. This team has a ton of talent, is coached very well, good organization. They got a ton of players in the minor leagues that they can bring up. And they have that rotation of Peralta, Mizorowski here, and you can, Woodruff. And now Woodruff is back. I mean, my goodness, he made Miami look stupid. And Miami's beating up everybody right now. So pretty dangerous team, Milwaukee. 11 games over 500. And I think the second half is they are a bet-on team moving forward as far as I'm concerned. What was their win total in the second half, Scotty?
I don't remember. I don't remember telling you the truth. But I bet it was low. I'm surprised I didn't play that one, because they still don't trust these teams, right? They're like the Tampa Bay Rays of the National League, right? Who's expecting Tampa Bay year after year after year? They lose players, right? And all they do is win, 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 win. They get the same record as the Yankees right now. And Milwaukee's the same way. They lose managers, they lose players, and yet they're always written off for dead, and there they are, in a playoff spot right now. So, that's it. Like you said, when you have those 3 guys, Peralta can beat anybody, and Woodruff can beat anybody if he's healthy, and you throw Mizorowski at you, that's tough. That's better than what the Mets have right now, 1, 2, 3. And you know Correct. What? Depending on what Wheeler does, and what Sanchez, I guess, would be number 2 in Philadelphia, I would take, a young Mizorowski at number 3 than what the Phillies would offer. Dodgers healthy would be a different story, but that's not a bad little 1, 2, 3 punch, in a best-of-5 or best-of-7 series. So be careful of the Brewers.
Be very careful. And I thought this was a great test for the kid here. He's got 54 pitches. He's in the top of the 5th inning. 12, 13 pitches an inning against a lineup, a professional lineup like the Dodgers, and he's keeping them off balance. And it's not even that Kershaw, I think, only has about 60 pitches as well through 5 innings. He's been very economical here, but a really good inning of the bats there, a second time through against Kershaw. Let's see what happens now the second or third time through with Mizorowski. But there is no doubt his stuff is electric. And, this kid could be better than Skeens when it comes down to it.
Yeah, how crazy is that, right? When you think about that thought. So... But you got you got really some nice young pitchers, whether it's Chase Brown with Cincinnati, Skeens, Mizorowski. You got some guys that are, willing to, and seemingly ready to carry the torch, or at least, take that next step and be the faces of baseball, pitching-wise anyway. So, not bad at all. Tigers were down early, Joe, against Tampa Bay. I didn't quite get that line again tonight. Yesterday, we were even. They were actual dogs. Tampa Bay minus 120 against Shane Baz. They win that game, it'll be a close game. They were close to being pick 'em again today. Slight favorites at home against Tampa Bay. I know that Tampa Bay's playing good, but I thought the Tigers were head and shoulders above those teams, and spotted them a 2-0 lead, and now Detroit bottom 8, leading at 4-2 against Tampa Bay.
I saw a absolutely absurd stat yesterday regarding this Tigers team, Scott. When they have the lead in the 6th inning, they are 55-2 on the season.
Wow.
They do not lose games late. So if you're looking for an opportunity to back the Tigers, if they have a lead after 6, they're winning the game. 55-2. Unbelievable what they're doing. And they're doing it hitting wise. I mean, they have the leads and they're doing it again here. I mean, what a comeback against on Sunday against the Guardians to extend their misery. I don't know how they tied that game up on a Class A wild pitch. And they tied it up and then scored 6 or 7 runs in the extra inning, and that was it. But that's what this team does.
I had the under in that game. You don't have to remind me. One
sorry about that.
Top of the 9th inning. Over under is 7.5. You can't lose, right? You can't lose. And you're right. I think one of the guys on the podcast was telling me that there were even 2 outs, I believe, when Class A threw the wild pitch that allowed the tying run to score. Then they score 6 runs at the top of the 10th, and the game goes over 7.5 in a 1-0 9th inning game.
That's correct.
Unbelievable.
After a 1-0 game the night prior, in which they won 1-0 over the Guardians, and the Guardians were about to win 1-0, and then the ball gets past the catcher, and the rest is history. But you give a finger, take an arm here with this Tigers team. They are proving a lot of people wrong every week here.
Yeah. Rarity could be happening tonight. We could have another PP hit for the 2nd straight game. Red Sox. Or 2nd straight night, rather. Red Sox go for 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning and now lead the Rockies 4-0. And then we got the Blue Jays up big. So, not bad. Black Cloud play today. Coming up next.
Yep.
Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back, and they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue. They're looking in to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. It's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that weren't household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Our number one final segment. You know what we always do. We give our best play of the day. We call it our Black Cloud Play of the Day. Yeah, I don't know how this one doesn't hit. Of course, we said that last night, and it didn't. But we are still 25 games over 500 with our Black Cloud Play of the Day, so we can't complain too loudly. But, we had Jacob deGrom, getting the strikeouts. He did not get them, unfortunately. Oh, no, he had him actual out, 17 and a half. We didn't go 6 innings, but he threw too many pitches, and they yanked him after 5. And it wasn't a great Jacob deGrom game. So, unfortunately, that was a loser. Still, we're 53 and 29 now, 24 games over 500. So, let's bounce back. Let's go to the winner's window tonight. Where are we going to go? As far as stats go, this is tough to see this one not come through. We're going to use another pitcher's prop. We got Arizona taking on San Diego. Now, the Padres are not a strikeout team. I will say that. Them and Toronto... Kansas City's at the bottom as well, depending on which stat you use. They're one of the least strikeout teams in all the baseball. But I will tell you, they have struck out a little bit more. I've watched these, over the last 2 weeks or so. So Merrill Kelly, they're giving us a number, starting pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're giving us 4.5. So what, Scott? Well, he's had 5 strikeouts or more in 10 of his last 11 games, including 7 against these same Padres a couple weeks ago. I mean, boy, 10 and 1. I know, again, the Padres don't strike out a lot. They're at home, but boy, how's he not going to get to 5? I'm going to go, and it's not heavily juiced. It's nothing crazy. Normal juice, Joe. Give me over. I'll take my chances. He pitches well tonight. At least gets 5 Ks, over 4.5 strikeouts. Merrill Kelly. What do you think?
Yeah, and he's had a pretty good record against him in his career. I think he's 9-5. He's got about a 3.5 ERA, 17 career starts against the Padres. And listen, when he's on, he's tough. The problem where he's gotten into trouble in some starts this season is that he's either leaving a whole lot of stuff over the plate he's making a lot of mistakes that are getting absolutely crushed, or sometimes he loses control. But if he is on, Scotty, he is he's very good. Tough pitcher's ballpark anyway, so I don't hate it here. The Padres have their own set of issues happening right now as well.
Yeah, I mean, and he only had 3 his last outing, but I'm going to use that as a positive because I think he's in a perfect bounce-back spot. His previous 10 strikeouts, 7, 7, 8, 6, 6, 11, 8, 6. They're not even giving us 5. Like, if I gave you those numbers and said, what do you think the line was? I think it would be at least 5.5 and probably even 6.5 with all those 7s and 11s in there. So, he doesn't even have to be on his game, just not be completely off, Joe, and he still should be able to get 5 strikeouts.
I agree. And listen, they also need him for some length, Scotty, because Miller is on the IL now as well. And he was the guy, I think, that had the most saves in the bullpen for him. That bullpen is a hot mess. So if they can give him a couple extra outs, get him to the 6th, maybe even the 7th inning, you're going to have plenty of time to get those strikeouts here tonight.
All right. So over 4.5, our Black Cloud play today. Keep your fingers crossed. So. All right, back to the board we go. They pushed, by the way, the Cardinal Washington Nationals game now to 9:15 actually, 9:16. Yeah. So they keep on pushing that a half hour later and later in a rain delay. So who knows if that's really going to get underway. Guardians, Joe, Hunter Brown, we put the kiss of death on him. 5-1 now, Cleveland.
That's just awful.
Bottom of the third already.
Yeah, absolutely awful. And I'm watching it, and he's not hitting his spots at all. He's leaving a lot of stuff out over the plate. And yeah, listen, there'll be outings like this, right? The guy's got a 1.8 ERA. I mean, he's been as dominant as they come. There are going to be times like this. And you know what happens, Scotty? After a team breaks a long losing streak, like the Guardians just did, they usually come back and they win a couple of more. So it's usually not a one-off. So The Guardians look like they're feeling it, but Hunter Brown does not have his A game here tonight. That was evident in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, clearly. All right, and then we were all over the under Kansas City and Pittsburgh last night. Loved it. 9 for Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
And it was over by the 5th inning. And 2-1 now, top of the 7th. I didn't have the under this time around, though. Of course not. Hour number 2 coming up next.
For the Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, like, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that weren't household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid on this terrific Tuesday evening. Scott Wetzel, Joe Raineri, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Full slate of baseball, WNBA, real quickly, Liberty down 2.5. They failed to cover 9 straight games. That line dropped all the way down to 3.5 I saw before tip-off, so that would be kind of funny. I don't know why I just enjoy these losing streaks more than winning streaks. So 0-9 against the spread, 3-6 straight up. We'll keep an eye on that. We got a whole bunch of baseball games, some starting in a little while, many that are going on. So let's welcome in Joe, our next guest for the evening. UnderdogFantasy.com is the website for his home. A lot of fun over there at UnderdogFantasy.com. Our good buddy Rob Donaldson. Rob, Scott, and Joe, how are you today, bud?
Hey, man, I'm having a decent night so far. We'll see how this plays out. A lot of bets still pending, including the Cubs, which, you know, I don't want to count them out yet. They got runners on the corners here with 2 outs. But yeah, we're just kind of rolling with the punches tonight.
Yeah,
I know one of your first place. Go ahead, Joe.
Give me the. I know, because I'm just looking here at that. I just can't believe how terrible the Mets are. They're Heckle and Jide. They're Heckle and Jekyll here. It's like, okay, so if we're home, we like them at Citi Field. If they go a couple of hours down the road, they're useless, Rob. Like, what is up with the Mets here?
Yeah, you know, this is one of the best fades in baseball right now, just based on the brand, the starters they can roll out there, the lineup that they have, and then the lack of production that's been as of the last month or so far. And I do think eventually it's going to turn. There's eventually going to be a really nice buy point on the Mets, but hey, this is baseball, 162 regular season games plus the postseason. There's a lot of time for things to happen, whether it's good or bad. And right now, it's a whole lot of bad for the Mets.
Seattle is trailing the Yankees 1-0 now, bottom 5. They were in a delay for the longest time, and they resumed play. I know you like Seattle originally. Only the 5th inning, Rob. You get them plus 210 if you want down 1-0. You buying again?
It's going to be interesting every single time after you come off a delay, especially a mid-game delay. The pitch counts really get thrown out the window, and they're not going to trot their starters out as long as the pitch count may suggest. And that makes it an ultimate flip of the dice. So what I would kind of wait on is, hey, when do these teams tap into their bullpens? What's the score at that point? I do think the Mariners can get to the Yankees bullpen. That's kind of why I like them tonight. But it needs to be within striking range, about 1 or 2 runs at that point.
Well, listen, all the favorites can't win, Rob, but the White Sox, were they a dog worth looking at here? It looks like Toronto got out in front of them pretty quickly here, 5-0. Bassett feels like he's better at the Rogers Center than on the road, but what are we thinking here?
Yeah, and the Blue Jays are a team right now that have a really taxed bullpen, and the White Sox are putting balls in play. And that's kind of what I thought it could potentially happen on the back end of this game. Now, I was on the White Sox first 5 money line, hoping that they could get their offense started early. That didn't come to fruition, but I still feel like at some point the White Sox bats can actually get going here. And so maybe a full game over is a good look, or even maybe taking the White Sox on a juicy run line price here would actually be pretty nice as well.
All right. Do you often bet the Chicago White Sox? Because I would tell you, I don't know if that's very smart, Rob. I didn't know for nothing, but I think I might steer clear of the White Sox.
I will say this, as bad as the White Sox are as a complete team, 1 through 9, they have the best first 5 money line profitability record in Major League Baseball right now. And just a month ago, I bet them against DeGrom. They got it done on that first 5 money line. So maybe I'm hooked. Maybe I'm a weirdo, but it's worked a little bit so far.
Can't argue with the results, that's for sure. And listen, the bullpen is a mess, but they do have some decent starting pitching that can get by. What are we thinking about with the Cubs here tonight? Not Imanaga was on the mound for him, but S. Woods Richardson quietly, since he's come back, has been pretty dominant here. What did you think going into this one?
Yeah, and that's kind of been a shock, I think, to a lot of people because the hard hit percentages are still there for Simeon Woods Richardson, and they have been, even since his most recent call-up as well. And so for that reason, I felt like the Cubs could get on base quite a few times and maybe even hit some dingers, and that hasn't come to fruition yet. I do kind of worry about the Cubs at this point going into the Minnesota Twins bullpen just because the Twins are well rested in that bullpen. They have a lot of good arms in there, and I do feel like they can mitigate some of those really tough left-handed bats that the Cubs have. Now, I probably wouldn't look to kind of have a live angle there, but if anything, maybe even take just an under from the live total.
Speaking of unders, I brought this up earlier. I knew it was sucker, Rob. I did. But I fell into the trap yesterday with Pittsburgh and Kansas City. They were giving us 9. I mean, 9 for a Pittsburgh-Kansas City game, right? And sure enough, that they have the 9 runs by the 5th inning. Game goes way over. And I was so disgusted. I didn't even look today, but I know you like the under Pittsburgh KC today. I see it's only 2-1, bottom of the 7th. They're giving you 5.5. I don't know if you'd go under 5.5 or not, but the smart move with the original bet at 8.5.
Yeah, and I felt with that total of 8.5 coming into this game that the really the wild card aspect of the full game total would be on the Pirates bullpen. Now that they've tapped into that, I wouldn't love a 5.5 total there, but I do like the fact that I'm sitting on 8.5, have a lot of cushion, just hoping that there's no extras in that game because that's what would probably really get me here.
Well, quietly as I'm watching this Dodgers and Milwaukee game, and it was a great pitching matchup. I thought the number was a little high as well. I think a lot of people looking at the over at the 8.5 with the Dodgers and Milwaukee probably were thinking Mizorowski gets lit up, the rookie here, by this lineup, but that has not been the case. It's still 2-1. He just finished the top of the 6th inning. No harm, no foul. The kid is the real deal, and this total seemed out of whack, no?
Yeah, and I remember coming on your show, Joe, a couple of weeks back talking about Mizorowski when I think he was making his first or second start, and my goodness, the guy's stuff is some of the most electric in the game right now. A right-handed Chris Sale is kind of how his throwing motion looks, and a ton of movement, a ton of ways to mix up the counts, and the only guy to really jump on him tonight has been Shohei Ohtani. Shocker, right? I mean, first at bat of the game, it goes yard. You're thinking maybe this is a disaster, and now it's kind of evened out. I don't really know exactly where the pitch count is for Mizorowski right now, but if he's rolling, both bullpens are ready to go, and there might not be another run in this game at this point.
Wow. All right. You're buying into the Brewer. Joe and I talked about it earlier. Like, come playoff time with him and Woodruff, and Peralta, they got a halfway decent, Rob, 1-2-3 punch in a best-of-5, best-of-7 series.
Yeah.
Man, with the Brewers, I've long been a fan, long been a backer of them in the regular season, but it's never been the pitching that's been the issue when it comes playoff time. It's about, hey, can we score more than 2 runs and get over the hump? I mean, last year they had the Mets on, the ropes, and Devin Williams comes in very confidently and he gives up the bomb. So it's like one of those things where the pitching has never really been the issue, but eventually they got to hit, and I think that's going to have to be a really aggressive trade deadline for him here.
And real quick, you like Victor Scott? That Cardinal game is yet to get underway. You like his prop tonight?
Yep, Victor Scott over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs, hitting the ball really well. Jake Irvin giving up a lot of hard hits. Really do love him on an angle tonight.
Rob, great job, man. As always, do appreciate a couple minutes. Check out his website, underdogfantasy.com. It's underdogfantasy.com. Good luck with all the plays today, Rob. Do appreciate it. And obviously, we'll do it again soon. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right, in-game live, game day on the grid continues here in a sec.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid, hour number 2. Thanks again, Rob Donaldson, UnderdogFantasy.com, for joining us last segment and throwing out a couple of winners. Hopefully that cashed some tickets. So WNBA update, Joe. I told you that the Liberty have failed to cover 9 straight games. That is just amazing. 3 and 6 straight up, too. It's not like they're winning and just not covering. They're not even winning, and they're losing again tonight. They were 5.5-point favorites at home against a mediocre Las Vegas team. I thought that number was low. I just bet it because you have to. 9 straight. You'd be a moron to bet against that, right? But I figured, all right, it's going to end tonight. Liberty down 7 outright, 51-44. Although you just saw a little note, Asia Wilson, who only has 2 points, only played 14 minutes for the Aces, Las Vegas. She must have hurt herself in the first half. Doesn't appear like she's going to return for them, though, right?
No, it was a wrist injury. She was questionable at the break, but it looks like they've now ruled her out for the rest of the game. But at this point, and all that matters, 51-44. And it's been, let's face it, been a disappointing first half for the Vegas Aces this season as well. You know, which version shows up. They don't look like a championship team to me at all.
Yeah, and same thing with the Liberty. Wow, the Liberty get 2.5 now. The defending champs could lose again. At home, no less, with 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. So 51-44. Normally, I'd say take the underdog, but, you know, in this situation, man, there's something rotten going on with this Liberty team. So I would stay away. If anything, I might even still go with the Aces, even without their best player. So, all right, up 4 now, 51-47. Back to the baseball board. Yankees are underway. Snapped the streak of 3 straight shutouts by the Seattle Mariner pitching. Remember, they blanked Pittsburgh 3 in a row over the weekend. First time that's happened in franchise history. 1-0 Yanks, but Seattle's got runners on first and second. Looks like 1 out. Still get plus 235 of the Mariners. And a 1-0 game. You know, you got 4 at-bats left, and you got 2 runners on this inning. Even if there are 2 outs, that's still, man, it's locked up right now. They just locked it. So, there it goes. It now comes back. You know, I would take a flyer on Seattle plus 235 against the Yankee bullpen.
I don't hate it. Do not hate it, Scotty, at all here. Hill is in now for the Yankees, and now it's up to this bullpen, and how much faith do we have in that bullpen is the big question, and that's really what we're looking at in a few of these spots, not only Yankees, Seattle. I would imagine Mizorowski out, Kershaw's about to be out. Who do you give the advantage to bullpen-wise as we get to the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning in a 1-run game in that one as well? I think it's huge advantage Milwaukee, and you can probably still get them at a discounted price because it is the Dodgers.
Right. Yeah, you're getting them, well, minus 280, Brewers. Well, you look at that Dodger, plus 210. Despite everything we just said. Yeah, you might be better at going at plus 220. Lay the run and a half versus the Dodgers. I will tell you this, though. Looking at the Dodgers-Houston series, you know, Joe, the Dodgers have the most come-from-behind wins in all of baseball by far. They got 34 come-from-behind wins. The next team, as of Sunday anyway, who knows what happened yesterday, but the next team only has 24. They've actually tied the Major League record for most come-from-behind wins before the All-Star break. The Dodgers have. So, 2-1.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I know the Brewers are tempting, but boy, that does stick out like a sore thumb. So
yeah, but they're also on a 4-game losing streak. So I don't know how much and that bullpen has been so taxed. I mean, every other game, Scotty's feel like it's been a bullpen game for the Dodgers for the last week, doesn't it? It just Yamamoto was ripped out at what, the 2nd inning, 3rd inning yesterday. He was getting crushed. Bullpen had to come in there. It's been a lot of bullpen work for this Dodgers team. Yeah, exactly. A lot of openers, a lot of bullpen. I don't trust them. I do trust the Milwaukee bullpen because they have quietly been lights out over the last month here. And the Dodgers just don't look like the Dodgers to me right now. But there's going to be points in the season like this. Listen, I never thought they were going to win 106 games, Scott. Like everyone just, give it to the Dodgers. Like, a lot can happen in a 162 game season. They're not rattling off 110 wins in a regular season.
Yeah. I thought, I bought in, Joe. I got to admit it. I did. I thought, now, listen, who knew their pitching staff would fall apart like it has, injury-wise. But, I really thought they would, get 100 wins. I don't even think they're going to get 100 wins, let alone 106 or 110, God forbid. But, I did buy into that a little bit. But, the scary thing is for them, they got one run again tonight so far, right, in the sixth inning through 6. They scored one last night. They scored one on Sunday. They did score 4 in a loss on Saturday, and they scored 1 in a loss on Friday. So in 4 of their last 5 games, and now this game's not over yet, but they've scored 1 run. So they've scored a total of 8 runs in their last, 4, we'll say, almost 5 games. So it's not just the pitching for them.
Listen, it happened to the Yankees. It's going to happen to the Dodgers. You and I have talked about, we thought they were a little top-heavy lineup anyway. And, the good news for the Dodgers is the break is coming. It looks like they're going to get Glass now back. They're getting some of their guys that'll be making it back in the rotation. It'll be a little more solidified. But that lineup, man, 1 through 5, really good. But once you get to 6, 7, 8, and 9, slumps happen. And this is, this is what you get.
If you had the under Red Sox Colorado game, first of all, you shouldn't be betting an under in a Red Sox home game against Colorado, right? But it was 0-0, Joe, bottom of the 6th inning. The over-under was 9. 0-0, bottom 6. How can you lose? You can't lose, right? You can't lose. 10-0 Red Sox.
You lost. Yep.
You lost.
Unreal. Oh, Stanton with a 3-run bomb. How's that going, Scott? Did you have him for a home run tonight?
I did not.
Wow.
I had him for a couple of strikeouts, but, home run Stanton. 4-0 Yanks. All right, so the AL East doing well. Toronto winning, Red Sox winning, and the Yankees winning. So and Baltimore winning. Only Tampa Bay.
Baltimore.
Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that were in household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. The bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tarik Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 2. Full slate of baseball, though. We got one game already in the books. Tigers did beat the Tampa Bay Devil Dogs 4-2. So Tampa Bay at this point, the lone American League East team that has lost or will more than likely lose, with the Red Sox winning big, Baltimore winning big, tacked on another run, 6-2 now over the Mets. Yankees now 4-0. 6-1 Cleveland, by the way, over at Houston. Joe Scott and Joe, hour number 2. Hunter Brown's still in there. Listen, it's amazing. These managers all want to be conservative with their pitchers, and I don't like it, but okay, I get it. Here's an opportunity to yank Hunter Brown. He clearly doesn't have it. He just doesn't. And he's still in there throwing pitches where, if you only have a certain amount of bullets in a season, I say, you know what? Okay, you don't have it tonight. For whatever reason, you don't have it. Let's pull you after 3, after you throw 30 or 40 pitches. Let's not get up to the 70, 80 point mark. Like if you're pitching great, but he is still in there. And he's getting beat up 6-1. Amazing.
Yeah, he is. And they've hit some, guys that you wouldn't think. Ramirez hit the first home run off him, but then it's been a bunch of guys that, lefties in which he's been dominant against, especially at home. He just doesn't have it. And really, quite at this point, that bullpen's been used a lot. So it doesn't shock me that he might take a few more for the team in this one, just to give those guys a little bit of a rest. But they've also had runners on base in every inning, too. So it hasn't exactly been, they just haven't gotten that big hit yet. But, a 3-run home run, and they're right back into this thing. And they've had multiple runners on base in each inning so far, the Houston Astros.
I got a couple of games here starting a little bit, Joe. Get your initial thoughts. Texas playing at the LA Angels. Nathan Eovaldi against Jose Soriano, who's actually pitched fairly well over the last month and change there for the Angels, who are, hovering around the 500 mark as the Rangers are. Eovaldi's one of my favorite pitchers, coming off an injury. I think this is his second or third start, though, since that injury, so, he should be back to normal. Angels 11-9 their last 20, nothing crazy with that. Texas 9-6 their last 15 games on the road. Number 1 under team is Texas, 57-33-1, 24 more unders than overs. As far as the pitching props go, it's pretty even. The only one that kind of stood out with Eovaldi, they're giving us 17.5 outs, which is through 6. He's gone through 6 in 8 of his 12 starts this year, 8-4. So, little lean that way. Soriano's 17.5. He's only 10-8. But in a way, the Rangers, it is minus 160. But this has 3-2, 4-2 written all over it. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see both these guys go 6 innings actually tonight, Joe.
Yeah, it wouldn't. At which case, I'm looking maybe the under 4.5 runs in the first 5 is not a bad look if you think we're going to get a pitcher's battle, which I thought we would have gotten last night with 2 of the frontline starters with DeGrom. And next thing I know, we got 5 runs on the board. We're in the 3rd inning. But Corey Seager really starting to get it going for the Rangers, and that is really good news. Now, 5 home runs in his last 10 games. He went yard again yesterday. He's been crushing both righties and lefties. He's also 4 for 5 with a home run in his career against Soriano. Can I interest you in a Corey Seager home run prop here tonight?
All right, that's not bad. It's funny. I used them in an SGP on today's Tuesday. Was it Sunday? Yesterday or Sunday? And I used Seager, and I looked it up. Yeah, he has actually turned it out. He had hits in 10 of his last 11 games, so it's probably 11 out of 12 if he got a hit last night. And the way he hit Soriano, that's not bad. I usually don't play home run props, but I would play something with Seager. It's taken a long time for him to get going. Joe, I looked it up. They only have 2 hitters. Heading into last night's game, the Texas Rangers only have 2 batters hitting above 250.
Yeah,
250, not 300. Like that used to be the benchmark. Only 2 guys hitting 250 or higher. That is amazing. That's why they can't score.
It's not good. Yeah, that's good. They've also got a second worst offense with runners in scoring position this year, hitting 220. That you're not beating anybody. If you want to know why you're getting all those unders in Arlington, it's because they can't drive in any runs. They're not getting the big hits. Seager coming around, I think, is big for them. They need Garcia to step it up here. But, you know, they're only 3 games under 500. If they can get to 500 or better at the break, I still think Texas is a team we got to look at.
Yeah, I said Texas and Boston, same thing, believe it or not. All right, look at Arizona, San Diego when we come back in Game Live.
To really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking into be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, like, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that weren't household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott Joe Raineri, hour number 2. We got Cam Stewart coming up in about 10 minutes or so. We'll get some winners from him before we are through for the evening as Cam and Gabe take over at the top of the hour. So got a couple of games here, Joe. Mets scored, make it a little bit closer before we get to Arizona, San Diego here. So it's now... what is it now? 6-6. Oh, no, I didn't realize it was that kind of a home run.
Alonso,
wow.
2-run homer to tie it. Yep. Wow.
Last I saw it was 6-2. So they had scored 2 and then 2 more. How about that?
Yeah.
I did like the Mets tonight. I thought they would bounce, kind of continue what they were doing against the Stankies into this Baltimore. I mean, I'm an anti-Baltimore guy, so very nice. I like that.
I think Lindor had a 2-run shot, and now it looks like good old Pete Alonso has a 2-run shot. And just like that, it is a 6-6 game. And the bullpen, once again, top of the 8th for the Orioles, letting them down here, Scotty.
Yeah. I'll say this about the Mets, Joe. Boy, they got some guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, right? Whether it's those two guys, whether it's Soto. I mean, they really do. They're never out of any game. The way the classic Earl Weaver, oddly enough. A couple of hits and a bomb, and there you go. You're back in the game. So that's the case down 6-2. Nice. Who hit the latest home run for the Stankies? Tell me it wasn't Judge. It's now 6-0 New York.
Yeah,
okay,
Austin
good.
Wells. They brought in a relief pitcher, Seattle, for Logan Gilbert, and he promptly served up a absolute meatball to Austin Wells, who parked it into the right field bleachers. So Yankees pouring it on, as they say.
All right. 10-2 Red Sox, top of the ninth. That's all but over. 11-1 Marlins over the Reds. That one's all but over, bottom 8. Toronto 6-1, top 7. That game's taking a long time to play, but, seemingly in hand are the Blue Jays. Top 8 they go. Boy, they're really begging for Dodger money tonight. The 2-1, top of the 8th inning, and they're giving you the Dodgers plus 560. They are really just, watch them lose this game. You know what? They got all those comebacks like we talked about, but they are giving you too good of a price for them to actually win this game. So, can the Cubbies come back, Joe? Down 2-0.
Yeah.
Top 8. You got a couple of runners on. You're still getting the Cubs at plus 230. But they've been threatening seemingly the whole night, but they haven't scored any runs so far against Minnesota.
I saw the plus 1.5 for Chicago there, Scotty, at a pretty decent price. I figured, all right, even if they lose, they're not going to get shut out, right? I mean, they're going to score a run, but S. Woods Richardson was dominating tonight, and he's done that now in a couple of starts since he came back from the IL. But you talk about the Mets with some guys that can hit the long ball. Chicago's always one swing away from being very much in this, if not taking the lead, Scotty. So any situation with a couple of runners feels like it's not a bad bet with the Cubs coming back and winning this thing.
Yeah, and they say Pecro Armstrong rather is up to plate, but I don't know why they would be getting 3-1 if that's really first and second, nobody out. I'm guessing there's got to be at least 2 outs there.
1 out.
Otherwise, I don't think they would be giving you that kind of a price. Same thing with the over/under 3.5 at plus 106 in a 2-0 game. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them really be in the bottom of the 8th inning. In fact,
out.
I bet
don't hate it. Don't hate it.
Yeah. Pittsburgh tied up Kansas City 3-3, bottom 8. They're giving us the magic number, 1.5 runs more than what they are at right now. They got 6 runs. They're giving us 7.5. Little surprised they're doing that for us. Generally, Joe, that's an automatic overplay, right? You hope it gets to extra innings and both teams can score, or one team can score 2 for that matter in extra innings. As much as I like the under in the series, I'm going to go over 7.5 of those 2.
I am with you here. If you can get it to extra innings, Scotty, anything is possible there. That's where unders go to die anyway. So at that price point, I'm kind of with you. I like that. I like the over here to see if we can't maybe get this thing to extra innings, get a couple of more runs, and cash that over 7.5 ticket right now.
We got Arizona at San Diego. This is, I'll give you some numbers here. They're not bad. You're just going to have to lay the wood if you want to take advantage of the numbers. You got San Diego 7-8 their last 15. We got them in our trend play. They're 7-1 last 8 losses, so they don't lose 2 in a row very often. But as far as the pitchers go, Nick Pivetta for San Diego at home, 6-0 with a 2.55 ERA. And that's where he's pitching, San Diego pitcher at home tonight. His strikeouts, 6.5. He's hit that only 7 of his 17 starts, 7-10. Nothing crazy there. But this is where it gets interesting. 17.5 outs, minus 146. He's got to get through 6. He's hit that 11 of his 17 starts, 11-6 this year. Then we gave you the Merrill Kelly, Joe, as our Black Cloud play, 4.5 strikeouts. He's had that, 10 of his last 11 starts, 10-1. So I'm going to, and that's not even money or minus 110. That's not juiced. The one that's juiced is Pivetta getting through 6 innings, minus 146. But, boy, he pitches so well at home. I think I'm going to bite on that one.
9th best home favorite record in Major League Baseball, the Padres are.
Really?
They are, 23-12, 66% as a home favorite this season. Very good. And, the total was what? 7.5, Scott, I think is what this thing opened up with. And I think there is a couple of 7.5s and 8 out there. I would not be shocked to get some runs in this game. If we're being honest here, we've seen quietly Arizona has been going over 9 of their last 12 games. Merrill Kelly has allowed 15 runs in his last 4 starts. All 4 of them going over. It feels like maybe the over, not a bad way to look. And I do believe Ketel Marte back in the lineup today for Arizona, which is good news.
That's, definitely. If you're betting the over, absolutely. So last one starting here in about 3 minutes. Philadelphia, San Fran. San Fran 25-11 under last 36 games. We gave you the numbers about Philadelphia. 26-6 are the Giants against Philadelphia at home. Taijuan Walker, he's been bounced between the bullpen and starting. He's obviously starting tonight, but how long is he going to go? I don't know. I don't think they're going to view this as he's actually starting and pitching 5-6 innings, or is it just a bullpen by committee game and he just happens to be the first guy? Robbie Ray, strikeout 6.5, 11-7 to the over on that one. And then his outs, same thing. You got to lay a little juice, but they're giving you 17.5. So again, he's got to get through 6, right? That's 18 outs. But the over, he's hit that 11-2 his last 13 starts, but it's minus 178. It's a little juicy on that one.
So a couple of things stood out to me. Number one, Wilmer Flores not in the lineup for the Giants. Neither is JT Realmuto for the Phillies. Looks like this could be a rest game for him. They do have a 3:30 afternoon Eastern time start tomorrow, Scotty. So they got a little bit of a early game coming up there tomorrow. But, I love the injury news, too, that they're reporting that Devers is dealing with some back tightness. So the earliest he could ever play the field, like at first base, is after the All-Star break. So they're already making excuses for him, and I love that. But I'll tell you this. I got a big pitching advantage with Robbie Ray at home early. I'll lay the half a run with the Giants in the first 5. I think they get to the pitching of Philadelphia before the bats of Philly get to Robbie Ray. So I'll lay a pretty good minus 110 for the Giants in the first 5, laying a half a run.
That's not a bad way to attack those high numbers. I didn't think about that, but, you don't have to first 5 bet, whether they're going to win, because that number is pretty similar to what the game number is. But if you lay the half a run first 5, that's where you get your discount. I like that. Yep. Cam Stewart coming up next.
To really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. It's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that weren't household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe Raineri for another 15, 16 minutes or so. That'll be Cam Stewart, Gabe Morency at the top of the hour. Watching a full slate of Major League Baseball and maybe, just maybe, getting that Washington at St. Louis managers fired system game. And now it's being pushed off to 10 o'clock. We'll see. Cam joined us now, as he always does at this time. What's going on, Cam? How are you today, bud?
Scott, it's just when it rains, it pours. Literally and figuratively. Honest to God. Like, for all those people who don't want to lay $1.90 with the Blue Jays, you put them in parlays, but you also get that -1.5, and we have huge rains. Tarps down in Chicago right now with a 6-1 lead for the bad guys. Now I'm worried about this run line play. It seems a little bit concerning, but we move on. Scott, first I'm dealing with a tennis player with a rib injury leading 2-0 against Sinner, the 1 seed, and now this. So we've had a lot of fun this week giving back money on potential wins. But anyway, we move forward. That's what we do here on In Game Live. Joe, nice to see you. The shows never look so good. Looking bronze, looking good. That's what Miami will do for me. I'm looking stressed and red. Nothing changes. Giants. I'm with Joe Raineri in this one. I like the Giants and Robbie Ray tonight. It's a little bit of juice, but we'll lay it down, Scott. And you talked about Ray's success at home. I do agree with you guys with the K's or, outs over in that game. The Angels are already off to a good start against Texas. I don't like the line, but we're on them in the game. The only dog I'm really looking at tonight, guys, and not a very big play, but I think the Athletics could be live against the Atlanta Braves at home. The Athletics have been kind of good to me recently, so I might go back there with Springs. What are they, -104, basically? It's they're small underdogs in that game. But and I also like the Padres, but guys, now it's -185 on my book, so I really don't like that line too much.
Yeah, that line is kind of shaky. Judge just went yard to make it a 7-0 game against your Mariners.
Nice.
Thought we'd get better from your boy Logan Gilbert tonight, Cam, no?
Yeah, me too. I actually was looking at the Mariners. I didn't pull the trigger on that game, but also, guys, what do you guys think about One Game Live? If we're going to look for something here, this is what we do on the program. I know the Guardians have a pretty good back end, but you're getting the Houston Astros +1.5, +120, or +285. We're in the bottom of the fifth. It's heading to the top of the sixth, so we still got some outs in that game. That might be something we could attack there. And, that's basically what I'm looking at. Other stuff we have going on. We got the Scottish Open. I'll have golf picks tomorrow, and what are we going to do, Scott? Should I come back to the tennis, or somebody else I'm going to have break their leg after they're up 2-0 tomorrow?
By the way, I was looking that up today, Cam, and not only has this dude dropped out of 5 straight majors, he's dropped out of 9 tournaments in his career because of injuries. 9! I mean, how is this guy not being investigated, right? I mean, you talk about just stinking. Dave looked it up last night. He was leading in 3 of these tournaments, in the majors.
Like, Dimitrov's a 16 seed. He's not some turkey. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's Bulgarian. I don't know if he's got the Bulgarian mob after him or what kind of deal he's got going on. I have no idea of this guy's backstory, but all I know is you're right. And it's happening in majors, and 9 times now, you're telling me, Wetzel? And he's leading a lot of the time as a dog against a higher ranked player. So I really don't know what's going on. I don't know what tennis is going on. But Joe, can you believe that? I didn't even know. 5 straight majors he's gone down with injury. This time he hits a ball. It didn't even look like he did anything. Oh, my pack. Yep. Like he's down on the ground laughing, crying. Like it was really weird. It was almost like a movie or a play. Like it didn't even look like a real injury. It was like almost like an acting job. But anyway, I digress. They didn't really say much about it. Sinner really catches a break there. But I said, if you're looking for a dog on the women's side, I get it. Today, this could have been good for our bets. I gave a Carver a couple picks when I was doing Coast to Coast this week. Watch out for Andreeva. She's +500. She's the only one I think that can actually win on the women's side. I know Sabalenka had a little bit of problems. So, you know what? She's not really vulnerable, but you can kind of get her in these situations where she doesn't play well for a while, but she used to break, but now she's mentally stronger. But Andreeva is somebody that has the game to beat her. She has the skill set. She's quick. She's great off the serve. She could play any type of style. That's the whole thing. So watch out. If you're looking for somebody with a little bit of pop on the women's side in Wimbledon, I like Andreeva at 5-1. I think she can win it all.
Novak's not losing to a guy named Flavio, is he, Cam? I'm asking
Flavio?
for a fan.
Was that Joe, your hairdresser?
I'm just
Joe
saying
Raineri with Flavio.
I'm just saying. I mean, he's a paltry minus 1,200 to win tomorrow. What are his chances of actually pulling this off and winning another Wimbledon, you think?
I'm starting to think a lot better than I thought before. Like the way he's playing right now, he seems to be on a mission. I'm actually more scared. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but Alcaraz is just rolling. Like, Cam Norrie's a pretty good player. He rolled today.
Right.
And the way I've watched Sinner looks a little bit vulnerable in comparison to the past, but he also might be saving it for a final. But if you guys want to take a shot on the Joker, could it be he's one of those guys, maybe one more kick at the can for Djokovic? Because I got to be honest with you, he's really played smart and he's conserved a lot of energy and he looks good. Like, he looks very fresh. We've seen him in these tournaments in the past in the majors getting beat down, but his path has been quite good. So yeah, I have no problem with that, Joe. Like, if you're going to put it together, there's probably 3 guys that can win, and Djokovic is the biggest dog he's the biggest pooch out of Sinner, Alcaraz, and himself. So yes, and I do believe that old man's strength, maybe can power one more with Wimbledon. That's the whole thing. I kind of agree with you. I don't think he's dead.
On the grass. Yep.
Yeah, on the grass.
How about this? If you want to play a hunch, Cam, how about take Ben Shelton? He's supposed to play Sinner next, but Sinner's got his own injuries to worry about. He's got an elbow injury. Maybe Sinner says, I quit, and now you got Shelton into the semifinals holding a 20-1 ticket.
Yeah, I was hoping that Sinner would give Gregor his bomb so I can get through this pec injury and try to win some money to pay some bills. But anyway, I digress there. But you know what? I might look at Shelton on the spread line. I'm not sure if he can win. Ben Shelton's been very good. The young American is getting stronger all the time. So maybe, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the thing is, Sinner has been starting slow. So you can do those spread bets and get like a nice number. Even if Sinner wins this match, if Shelton wins early, you could take the total spread. That's how I bet underdogs, with a little bit of sprinkle on the money line. But Shelton with the spread bet, I think, Scott, you could be onto something. Sinner hasn't looked good out of the gate. He's kind of looked very slow coming out in his matches, and that could prove deadly this time against a talented American.
Yeah, and with that elbow injury that he has, being down 2 sets to love was no fluke against Dimitrov. Cam, great job as always, Cam, at the top of the hour. Thanks.
To really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking in to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, like, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that weren't household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead. All right, and then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I will keel over if they trade LeBron James to anyone. He is not leaving Los Angeles with all of his entertainment company, production studios, movies, TV shows, podcasts, everything that he does. This guy is stuck there like glue for the rest of his life. He's not leaving Los Angeles even when he's done playing.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Wrapping up shop. Thanks again, Cam Stewart, Cam and Gabe at the top of the hour, as they always are for the next two right here on SportsGrid TV, SportsGrid Radio. But yeah, we were joking yesterday when we found out, Joe, that this Dimitrov guy has retired in 5 straight majors. It's just like,
unreal.
I mean, of all the things that are investigated now, as they should be, how this guy has not come under the scrutiny. And tennis is as dirty as it gets, right? You know, how he's been able to fly under the radar doing that. And, you know, Dane looked it up. 3, if you're counting this year, of the 5 matches, he was leading. And the other 2 were in the first sets. So the only thing I can think of is his people are telling him, you have to lose this match. And he says, all right, whatever, I'm not going to beat Sinner. And then he realizes, oh, my God, I'm up 2 sets to love. I may beat this guy. I got to come up with an injury. And that's when he, you know, falls prey to an injury. That would be my only guess, but
that happens a lot when he's winning as an underdog, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's crazy
how
that happens like that. Like, and you're right. I'm shocked that hasn't been looked into. But then again, maybe it has, and there's nothing to see here, Scott. Right? Like nothing to see here. No big deal, but. Sinner is is that a sign to fade Sinner now moving forward? Because he didn't look good at all. He didn't look good at all.
He did. Yeah. And he's got an elbow injury. He's undergoing an MRI today. I don't know the results, but I know FanDuel doesn't have a line up on that match, him and Shelton, which I think is tomorrow. So, as I was telling Cam, you know, it's not the craziest thing in the world. You can't bet the match, but you can bet Shelton to win the whole thing at 20-1. He gets a walkover. Now, all of a sudden, he's in the semifinals. And he's got a clear path. He doesn't face Alcaraz. Joker's got to face Alcaraz in the semis. So now Shelton has a decent match to get into the finals. So now he's got to be a big underdog. No matter who he would face in the finals, but I don't know if he'd be a 20-1 underdog, so you'd have a chance to hedge your bet a little bit. So not a bad little play on Shelton.
Love it. I think there's some opportunity there because that elbow is going to be a problem, and I don't mind Novak as the winner because listen, when he was in the finals at the French, right on that surface. All anyone kept saying was, listen, if he's good enough to make it to the final here, his preferred surface at this point in his career is the grass. That's where everyone thought he had his next great shot. And the guy's playing phenomenal. And like Cam said, it's set up perfect for him to have an opportunity to do this. And wouldn't Alcaraz and him just be one of the, wouldn't that be fitting for a Wimbledon final?
Yeah, that would be. That would be a lot of fun. So, all right, we got a bunch of runs. Royals did beat Pittsburgh 4-3. They scored a run in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Of course.
All right, that over 7.5. Yeah, that stinks. Red Sox win 10-2 over the Rockies. That's over. Tigers 4-2. We talked about that over the Rays. Runs are coming in bunches now. It was a slow start. We got Mets and Orioles 6-6. That game went over. Yankees now 10-0 over Seattle. That game went over. Marlins 12-1, bottom of the 9th inning over Cincinnati. That game went over. So Twinkies 8-0 over the Cubs. So much for that Cubs comeback. I mean, they were down 2-0 a moment ago. Now all of a sudden it's 8-0. So and the Brewers extended their lead over the Dodgers 3-1. I told you they were begging for Dodger money, Joe. You said it. You'd be more inclined to take Milwaukee laying the 1.5, and that's looking much obviously better than the Dodgers.
Yep. And again, it's that bullpen, Scott, that has come in, and McGill closing it now, but Uriah comes in. The guy who's been unhittable as the setup guy. They got it rolling in Milwaukee right now. It's a big win, especially for the rookie to come out and go 6 innings and give up 1 run, which was the first at-bat of the game, and shuts them down beyond that point. Milwaukee's got to feel good. Peralta, Mizorowski, they got to feel good about the direction they're heading right now.
Yeah, if the Cubs end up losing, as you figure they would, Milwaukee wins, they'll be 2.5 back in the NL Central. But that was a monster lead not that long ago. So
huge.
Tough break. Yep. Tough break if you're laying a 1.5 with Toronto. They are winning big, but they're in a rain delay. I got a feeling that's not going to get completed if the Cardinals are finally just getting underway, that rain's probably heading to Chicago, and that's that's not good. They'll pay off if you have it straight, but they won't pay off on a run and a half bet.
On a run left. Yep. Unreal.
Joe, great job, man. A lot of fun today. Hopefully we can do it again soon, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Sam and Gabe coming up next.